When the whole family comes together to watch the game, nobody wants to miss a second of the action to run to the grocery store. With Instacart, you can get all your weekly groceries in as fast as an hour. Less time shopping means more game time. Let's go. Visit instacart.com to get free delivery on your first 3 orders. Offer valid for a limited time. $10 minimum per order. Additional terms apply.
My 13-year-old acts like a puppy again.
Almost overnight, she's a different dog.
Perfect poops.
When people switch their dog's food to the farmer's dog, the effects can seem like magic. But there's no magic involved. It's simply real meat and vegetables with all the nutrients dogs need, instead of highly processed pellets. No tricks, just smarter, healthier pet food delivered in packs portioned for your dog. It's amazing what real food can do. Get 50% off your first order at thefarmersdog.com/nomagic50.
This is Kansas State's Felix Enrique-Uzama, and you're listening to the PowerCat Podcast on the 24/7 Sports Podcast Network. Make sure you're subscribing to this show on your favorite podcast provider.
Welcome to a special edition of the PowerCat Podcast. I don't even know what to call this thing. It's not a questions podcast. It's a bowl draft. We have lost our minds. Folks, we're crazy. We don't technically have a sponsor for this, but let's say hi to everyone who does sponsor our different stuff. How's that sound? There's the fridge. There's Taco Lucha and So Long. And there's, of course, our folks at the part-time beverage company with the, come on, Cole.
Club Special in Cape Cod.
There you go. All our sponsors, and, of course, Robbins Motor Company and Caddyshack Golf.
That's Caddy with 2 T's.
You got it. They're all of our sponsors. We appreciate their support. They make this all possible. Well, it's possible without them, but let's be honest, money's nice. So here's what we did. We've pre-drafted bowl games.
But who's here, by the way?
Oh, Tim Fitzgerald, Zach Carlson, Cole Carmody, Ryan Gilbert, Dude Fitzgerald, who is 6. Oh, was that me or?
That was not me.
It's not me.
Yeah, I think it was me because I had my sound on to edit the last podcast. And Daphne, who turns 6 on February 5th.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a big day. And they got groomed. That's important content that everyone should know. They look fantastic. Here's what we did. We snake drafted, and if you don't know what that is, I'm sorry, 20 bowl games. We each picked 5 that we wanted to pick. So you can we're only picking one game at a time. I mean, there's 20 different bowls listed. Some of these games are trash, and we didn't even want to talk about them. That's what happened here. So there are some games we have not picked. We didn't pick Kansas State or the 2 playoff games for reasons, well, I lied to the guys. We're going to pick those at the end. We're going to all pick them.
Okay.
But what we've done here is we each have a game we're picking, and we have picked a winner to go with that game. So we each have 5 games. We're going to start off with Ryan Gilbert. Ryan, what was your 5th game you picked? Your least desirable of the games you picked is what?
I picked the Armed Forces Bowl.
Okay.
Featuring Air Force and Baylor.
Okay. And you picked?
And I picked our Air Force.
So you went with the Armed Forces School in the Armed Forces Bowl.
It fits, right? And it fits. Sorry, I'm not talking about you. Like, it fits that they win this game.
Yeah.
So, yes.
Does anyone disagree with him on that winner?
Hey, I thought I had the floor for this whole
thing. Yeah, you do. Why did you pick Air Force?
Well, Air Force is home.
They're the Falcons?
I do like Falcons.
Okay.
Home to the nation's top rushing attack, 330 yards per game. That's 40 more than the next best Army.
You're actually reading this off as something, aren't you?
Yeah. I did a lot of research for this.
Holy crap. We're supposed to do research?
Did Baylor pack it in?
Copied and pasted. Well, Baylor had New Year's 6, maybe college football playoff expectations going into this year. They're playing in the Armed Forces Bowl. I think this game means a lot more to Air Force, so go with Falcons.
TCU fans going to be rooting for Air Force in this game. It's played at Amon G. Carter Stadium.
Yep. Now, how would you like to play a bowl game on one of your rivals' home fields? Is this weird? Feels dirty. I think Baylor wins. I don't know what you guys said. I think Ryan Gilbert's wrong, but he's the one who makes millions of dollars on sports gambling. Mm-hmm. Cole Carmody, what was your 5th pick?
I picked the Sun Bowl, the Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl to be exact, that features UCLA and Pittsburgh. Kenny Slovis and Dorian Thompson-Robinson, DTR, and UCLA will get it done in this game. They're really not that bad. Ranked 18th in the country.
This guy's doing research.
DTR. The only reason I know about UCLA is because of they've been on Pac-12 after dark. Actually, I think Kenny Slovis is actually in the transfer portal right now, so I don't think Pittsburgh even has a quarterback. The line's 6 for UCLA. I think they win. I think they cover. Give me the Bruins.
Wow. Zach?
I'm taking Boise State in the Frisco Bowl because North Texas fired their coach.
Weird.
And it's Boise State against North Texas.
I think if you're going to fire your coach, you shouldn't be accepting a bowl bid.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's kind of a conflict for me. Hey, we had a successful season. We're going to bowl, but you're fired. Isn't that weird?
The players, though, they deserve it, don't they?
Yeah, but I just think it's weird to fire your coach after a bowl season. I think it should be illegal. Unless you choke out your partner or something.
It's like the Colts. They were, 3-4-1, and they just fire Frank Reich out of nowhere.
Well,
the team wasn't doing that bad.
His name's Frank Reich. I mean, for God's sakes, we all hate Nazis. I'm going with my first pick or the fifth pick actually, is the Military Bowl. I'm going with Central Florida because their UCF has a really good military.
They are the Knights.
Oh, yeah, they're the Knights. I'm going with UCF. I don't even know who they're playing. That's how much. It's right here in front of me. No, it's Duke. Oh, it's Duke. That's why I picked UCF. Duke sucks.
Duke's 8-4. It's actually kind of a sneaky good game when you look at it.
No.
I agree with you, though.
Nothing involving the ACC sneaky good. The ACC sucks so bad that they should only be playing in the Dyson Bowl.
Hey, ESPN's got to be happy they're having Duke and KU on in back-to-back time slots.
That's
not basketball, football.
Has Duke ever played in the Duke's Mayo Bowl? I feel like that should be something that happens.
Mm-hmm.
Anyhow, Gilbert, your next bowl.
Are we not doing a snake?
No, we're just going to do this.
Okay. Next, I have Western Kentucky in the New Orleans Bowl over South Alabama. I talked about the rushing attack that Air Force has. The passing attack for Western Kentucky is the second best in the nation with 339 yards through the air. Give me the Hilltoppers.
That's good. Good reference. I love their mascot.
Their quarterback's actually coming back, so that's actually a really good pick. He was in the transfer portal. Now he's back. I like that pick. My game I'm going next is the Duke's Mayo Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
So in case you don't know, this is a must watch just for the ending where they dump a bucket of mayo on the coach. This year it is Maryland versus NC State. This game is important because NC State, you'll notice I'm picking a theme. They don't have their quarterback. He's in the transfer portal right now. That would, of course, be Devin Leary, who had a really solid season for NC State. I'm picking Maryland and hoping that Tua's brother, Mr. Talia Tagovailoa, will lead the Terps to victory in this game, and their coach will have mayo dumped on him.
If I was head coach, I would intentionally lose this game.
I'm with you.
Have
you ever had mayo dumped on you? Right?
No, never want that.
The spread in this game is 1.5.
Seemed like the kind of guy that would have.
Some other stuff's been dumped on me.
Oh, okay.
Spread of mayo in the Mayo Bowl is 1.5.
I like it. It's very
hammer this spread.
Zach, you're anti-condiment in general. Have you ever had Duke's Mayo?
No, screw mayo.
Has anyone had Duke's Mayo?
No.
Okay, I'm going to try sometime.
I'm not anti-condiment either. I'm anti-mayo.
Well, that's true. But what do you get on your hamburgers?
Is this the overtime?
Ketchup and mustard?
That's
Like a
condiments.
human?
Okay.
Oh,
Like a normal person?
I was thinking you got it naked.
No.
he gets queso on everything.
I don't.
That would be a great bowl.
Queso bowl?
Yeah, the Taco
Cheese,
Lucha
it's already
Queso Bowl.
there.
Let's do it.
The Taco
Cheese is
Lucha
pretty
Queso
cool.
I'll
Bowl.
talk to Trav about it.
Okay. Zach, you're up.
I am going with Minnesota in the Pinstripe Bowl.
Salute.
And why did you pick Minnesota in the Pinstripe Bowl?
So, because on Sportsline, the simulation is very large. There's a very large gap between Minnesota and Syracuse. That's going to be kind of the theme here for my picks.
Adrian Hilborn would be proud.
I like that.
Yeah.
My next bowl is I'm going with the Music City Bowl. I'm going to pick Luke Bryan to win this game because he's playing Florida Georgia Line, and they suck worse. I'm actually going with Kentucky because they're not playing a college football team. They're playing Iowa. I feel like if Kentucky can score 10 points, they got this thing wrapped up.
I don't know who Iowa still has left on offense. Running back, like 3 receivers transferred. hammer Iowa, or hammer Kentucky in this game.
The over-under is 31.5.
See, I think
That
Kentucky
is
might score that.
insane.
I don't accept this argument that a guy just got a head coaching job because his defense was so good in the Big Ten West. I think the Big Ten West offenses were awful. I think their defenses are okay, but I think they're way overrated because the offenses were so awful. I wouldn't be surprised if Kentucky covers that. That's how confident I am in Kentucky. Next up is Ryan Gilbert again.
Thirdly, I've got the AutoZone Liberty Bowl, which I know K-Staters are all familiar with.
And Missouri's in this, right? Yeah. No, they didn't. They're not in this.
They could have been. Hey, that's a preview to my next pick.
Yeah. Okay.
I like Arkansas here. I'm sorry, KU. It was a really fun, magical start to the season, and I think things kind of just went downhill for KU. They had a win over Oklahoma State after K-State broke them. Other than that, they didn't do anything to finish out the season, really. So I think Arkansas gets it done.
I got to say this. If Kansas had played Missouri, first of all, it would have been a great game. I think Kansas throttles them. I think Missouri's trash. But I think Arkansas is actually pretty good. I think this is a problem for KU.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think Arkansas is going to win this game. They got some guys on that offense. KU is. I don't know. I can't see them win this game. Speaking of Big 12 teams, I'll stick with that for the Tax Act Texas Bowl. Obviously, a bowl K-Staters are very familiar with. That features Texas Tech and Ole Miss. This is a mismatch, Fitz. I don't think this game is going to be even close. Texas Tech still doesn't have a quarterback that they can rely on. Donovan Smith's their leading passer. I don't think he's the answer. They got some other guys that they'll play, but Ole Miss does have a quarterback. That's Jackson Dart, over 2,600 yards this season. He is a certified stud. Ole Miss was 8-4, but they were in the top 10 in the country for a large portion of the season. You go look back and see a Texas Tech fared against high-ranked teams. It didn't end very well. I'm going to take Ole Miss in this game. If they would have beaten Mississippi State, they could potentially be in that Cotton Bowl range of bowls. They probably would be higher up than the Texas Bowl. So, yeah, I'm going to take Ole Miss in this game. The spread is 3.5. They're going to win by 2 scores. I don't think this.
I got to say this. I was very confident in a lot of the Big 12 matchups that we were looking at, that were potential. I'm not that confident in a lot of these matchups. I think this is a horrible game for Texas Tech. I think KU got screwed on picks, but I do have a couple that I'm interested in. Zach?
Taking East Carolina against Coastal Carolina in the Birmingham Bowl. So 2 teams from the Carolinas are going to Birmingham, Alabama to play a football game.
Couldn't they just relocate the game?
I think they should.
That could be the Myrtle Beach Bowl.
Why not?
Who did you take in that game? You said East Carolina?
Taking East Carolina.
Good pick.
Coastal Carolina lost their head coach to Liberty.
And they lost their quarterback.
And, yeah, it's a Cole pick
Thank
for
you. Great pick. Great pick. I feel like I'm on the set of game day right now.
You got your Ticonderoga pencil to point at me?
Yeah.
And your B-2 bomber pin?
I think East Carolina should put Mike Leach's photo on the side of their helmet for this game. Because they are the Pirates.
They are the Pirates.
And I think Mississippi State needs to change their mascot from the boring old Bulldogs, which is pretty common among high schools, to the Air Pirates.
You know what's funny? Speaking of mascot changes in Mississippi, it's a shame that the Pirate was at Mississippi State and not Ole Miss, who probably should change their mascot at some point.
Well,
maybe not should. Hang on. Maybe not should. They're going to be the topic of discussion to change their mascot.
They should change their mascot. Their name is the freaking Rebels. Okay? Sorry if that offends you. Their name is the Rebels.
They were rebels. They tried to overthrow our government, and they're proud of that.
There.
Go Ole Miss.
Yep.
My next pick, speaking of Mississippi State and the Pirates, is Mississippi State to win the ReliaQuest Bowl. And boy, I remember as a kid waking up on bowl game morning and thinking, Daddy, when's the ReliaQuest Bowl? I want to watch the ReliaQuest Bowl. And yeah, that was a big thing at our house to watch that game.
Formerly known as the Outback Bowl, I will say the Bloomin' Onions always smacked whenever
always cheer for the Bloomin' Onions.
Because this game's, correct me if I'm wrong, it's in Orlando, right?
Yes.
And when I think of...
Tampa.
Okay, yeah, same thing. When I think of, Australian fake food and blooming onions, I think of Tampa. And I also think of ReliaQuest. But I've got Mississippi State. I think they're going to win this game, and they're going to absolutely hammer. I don't even know who they're playing. That's how I don't know.
Illinois.
Thank you, Illinois. Yeah.
Without a defensive coordinator.
Yeah, I think, again, it's the Big Ten. I'm not sold on anything going on in the Big Ten. More on that later. But that's it for the first 3 of our picks. We've got 2 more picks each, and the big games coming up on the second half of this weird podcast that honestly is just filling some time. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm just putting this in here so that you have something to talk about on the message boards, because you folks are going crazy. Our message boards are hopping. I didn't do any promos at the top.
Nope.
3, 2, 1. Before we get started with our picks, important information here. This is so important. Everyone, stop what you're doing. I have a significant, I can't even quote Anchorman correctly. Anyhow, make sure you're subscribing to GoPowercat.com. We have an incredible special if you're not subscribing, or you're a monthly subscriber that wants to be annual, wants to get a deal right now, 50% off a subscription, and you get Paramount Plus. So it's 50% off. It's half price for one of 2 products that basically cost $100 a year. You can't beat that. Get on over there and take care of that at GoPowercat.com. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Please subscribe to our podcast, whether it's on Apple or Amazon or Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast. And if you're on Apple, just drop us a review. We haven't asked you for that in a long time. If you really like the podcast, say, hey, this podcast is swell. If you don't like the podcast, boy, you got other ones you can listen to. That's really all I'm going to say about that. But make sure you're subscribing. Support us, please. We appreciate it very much. We're growing like crazy, and it's a fun time to be covering Kansas State sports.
This is Kansas State's Cooper Beebe. The leaders in K-State sports coverage will be right back with more of the PowerCat podcast.
With Blue Link Plus, you can access your Hyundai Tucson Limited remotely. Doors unlocked, temperature set, lost car found.
There it is.
Get complimentary class-leading Blue Link Plus. Call 562-314-4603 for complete details.
This is Kansas State's Daniel Green, and welcome back to the PowerCat podcast on the 24/7 Sports Podcast Network.
Welcome back to the special edition of the PowerCat podcast as we pick bowl games. We didn't pick them all because some of them suck so bad that ESPN hates us. They created bowls to put together teams that we don't want to watch, but it's free football, so we'll take it. But we're not picking all 40 games or whatever it is. We've each picked 5 games. They're different games. We picked them in reverse order, and now we're reverse order from what we're doing. It gets very confusing what we're doing here. Anyhow, we got 2 more games each, and then we're going to pick K-State and the 2 playoff games as a group. We'll see where we land on this. Ron Gilbert, you are up with your next pick, which would be the second pick you actually made in your confidence here. Who do you have?
You mentioned bowls growing up as a kid that you just admired. The Union Home Mortgage
Gasparilla Bowl.
Sure, that word.
You know what? My family, we've got a long history of Gasparilla. We all have to take Tums or Prilosec or something. So, but I'm glad they got a bowl named after that. That's cool.
Yeah.
And Gasparilla, by the way, it's a ship made of flowers. That's what a Gasparilla
used
is.
Back in the Civil War era.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Diversity.
Yep.
He actually was, that was the ship that Bob Alamo came back.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Because Bob Alamo took that ship all the way to San Antonio.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
National treasure Bob Alamo.
Okay, there we go.
I'll keep this one pretty short. I'll go with Wake Forest over Missouri because Missouri does not have a head coach.
Well, they technically do.
No.
Okay.
Nope.
Yep. Okay. I'm not even gonna comment on that.
Okay.
See, we all agree.
Yep. The next bowl that I have, the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl.
That doesn't make sense.
I want to know who's going to wake up feeling the cheesiest and get to spend a night in that hotel room.
I'm feeling the cheesiest, Coach.
So is it like an orange flavored Cheez-It? Ugh.
I don't know.
That's weird. That doesn't make sense to me at all.
As far as on the football field goes, you got the loser of the SEC championship game versus the loser of the Big Ten championship game. These teams are not equal, though. LSU is way better than Purdue. LSU is basically K-State if they lost their championship game. K-State would be around this position. They lost a non-conference game, too. They beat some teams in the regular season, including Alabama. Jaden Daniels is the best Daniels of the quarterbacks between JT and Jalen. Jaden Daniels is the best.
How about Jack? He's a pretty good quarterback.
Chase Daniel doesn't count. He doesn't have an S, does he?
Nope.
Okay.
Give me Jaden Daniels and good old Brian Kelly and the family to win this game.
I don't even know what that was.
Amazing. Next game, I'm going with Tennessee in the Orange Bowl. I think they beat Clemson.
That's actually going to be a good game. I'm not sure that without Hendon Hooker, they can actually beat Clemson.
The Orange Bowl is probably drooling over themselves because they got two of the most orange teams for their Orange Bowl.
No DJ Uyunglele for Clemson. I'm not sure that matters.
You're really good at those names.
Thank you.
Which team do you think wears orange? And do you think Clemson wears purple?
Ooh.
And you like the song Tennessee Orange, don't you?
It's a good song. It's a great song, Fitz.
It's kind of whiny.
Morgan Wallen came out with a new song called Tennessee Fan. It's about the night they beat Alabama.
What the hell's going on with all these songs about SEC football?
It's not about SEC football. It's about Tennessee football.
But no, her family's Georgia fans, and she's dating a guy from Tennessee.
Yeah.
It's about SEC football. I still want the dogs to win.
Specifically Tennessee.
Why don't we have a song about, let's get the Red Dirt Country guys on Kansas State is referenced in a Red Dirt Country song, but maybe we need something about the cats beating the frogs or something. Mommy, I still wear purple.
Who are you picking in your next game?
My next game is, way to move us on. I appreciate that. Speaking of things that need to have songs about them, Bob Alamo deserves his own song, and now he had that valiant stand at the Alamo Bowl. There was a game played, in the 1800s. And, of course, Bob Alamo was famous because he went on to be president of Texas.
Yep.
Yeah. And I am taking Texas to win the Alamo Bowl. I can't remember who they're playing.
They're playing Washington.
That's right. It's a horrible pick, but I think Texas is going to have their advantage of having not to go very far.
No Bijan, no Roshan Johnson.
What?
I like Michael Penix Jr. in Washington in that game, honestly.
I just wanted to say his last name.
All right. My number one pick.
There you go.
Cotton Bowl.
Okay.
I've got Tulane here, and I feel like we might be a little biased because we saw them in Manhattan, and they were impressive. They shut down K-State's offense for the most part. But I still do like Tulane. USC's season is kind of over at this point. They had playoff aspirations, and now they're playing in a non-playoff game. So this game means a lot more to Tulane than it does for USC. Caleb Williams, what does he have to prove? He's won the Heisman. I just like Tulane. I think things add up for them to win.
Green Wave. Go Green Wave.
If Caleb Williams is healthy, I think USC wins. I'm not sure how healthy he actually is. This will be a good game. What's the spread on that, by the way?
I think it was like 1.5 for USC. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
I don't know if I'm touching that. That's going to be a good game. I don't know who's going to win. That's why you picked it.
I don't bet, though.
True.
Never.
Don't die.
Rose Bowl for me. Utah, Penn State. This is really simple. Penn State, overrated. Utah is also overrated, but not as much. Give me the Utes. Cam Rising is legit. That guy is Skylar Thompson reincarnated. I don't know if you've watched him. Skylar Thompson reincarnated. He's been in college for like 7 years.
The Utah quarterback?
Yes.
Oh, he was great against USC.
He gets his helmet popped off, gets right back up. He's got the flow of a god. Give me Cam Rising and the Utes.
Is Penn State overrated, or were they just under the radar, happened to be good?
Penn State has played absolutely nobody.
I think the Big Ten's not very good this year.
I don't think the Big Ten's very good at all, but also they were third in their division.
Yeah. I mean,
they were under the radar and still made the Rose Bowl. I wouldn't say they're overrated as much as they are.
They're in over their heads in this one.
Right. Like Utah should win this game.
So one division from the Big Ten puts two teams into the playoff, and the third one gets the Rose Bowl. That tells me that an entire half of your conference is absolute trash, because it is.
They are getting rid of divisions, right?
Yes.
Is that next year?
This is what happens with divisions. You get competitive in one conference. Guys, I'm going to argue that the SEC West is down. I don't think it's what it has been. I mean, LSU won that and lost to A&M. No, I don't get it.
That's not a hot take at all. It's very down.
Was it a hot take? I want to have a hot take.
Zachary?
Mine is UTSA in the Cure Bowl. Give me...
I think he skipped. No, he didn't.
No, I didn't. I didn't.
Oh, you're right.
It sounds like it because I took it first, but I didn't realize we were doing it like this way.
But this is the one you're really confident in.
I'm very confident in UTSA. Give me UTSA all day over Troy. They're a 1-point underdog right now. I think they opened as a 1-point favorite. But, yeah, give me UTSA.
I noted this, Frank Harris Jr. If that name doesn't sound familiar to UK State fans, that's okay. Just understand that Frank Harris Jr. has been at UTSA, as I pull up his page, since, ready for this, 2017.
Not to be confused with Franco Harris.
You're very correct. Number 0, the quarterback for the Roadrunners. He's a stud, though. So, yeah, I'm with you, Zach.
The game I took, now, keep in mind, this wasn't the first pick of the draft. I actually had the last pick of the first round. I picked the Cheez-It Bowl because I think Oklahoma started to play better at the end of the season. They're going to knock the crap out of Florida State because as much as I think the Big Ten sucks this year, the ACC is awful. Awful. I think this is a rout. And shout out to my friend who continues to add a giant box of Cheez-Its to the seed sower at the University of Oklahoma's Tulsa campus. It's kind of funny. They took it down, apparently. After the tweet, they responded that we have our own plans and took it down. Well, I have some news for you, Tulsa campus of Oklahoma. Someone else has plans. Yeah, whatever.
You know who we need to get involved in this? The Tulsa King.
Ooh. Sly Stallone?
Yeah, we need to get him involved in this. This is unacceptable.
That's a good show. Okay, that's our 20 games that we picked. But you might know this. There's some other games of substance this holiday season. And no, I'm not talking about the Boca Raton Bowl. Boy, how many times did I watch the Boca Raton Bowl too? Dad, who's in the Boca Raton Bowl? Son, what? Okay, so let's pick the 2 playoff games first. And we're going to just go around here. Let's start with the Verbo Fiesta Bowl. In case you don't want to stay in a hotel and you want to stay in someone's rental.
It's VRBO.
It's Verbo.
It's Verbo.
Is it?
Yeah. Tim Tebow's in a commercial.
It's because there rhymes with Tebow.
Because of people like you.
How can you pronounce these quarterback names right and not know Verbo?
That just tells you what I do on the weekends.
Wow. I did not know this. It's now State Farm Stadium in Glendale. I didn't know that.
It's been a while. Been a little bit.
I really don't give a crap. We've got Michigan, the
University.
number 2 seed,
Okay.
and TCU. It's like, is it because Cliff Kingsbury has to have a lot of insurance?
I think it's because he coached Patrick Mahomes, and Mahomes is State Farm.
That's probably some truth to that, sadly. TCU and Michigan. Who do we think wins this game?
You know who I'm going to pick.
I don't. That's why I asked.
I know what he's going to say. He's going to say TCU.
I'm not going to say TCU. I love Max Duggan. I love Quentin Johnston.
Not enough.
But I just think that J.J. McCarthy and Jim Harbaugh are better. I think Michigan's a really good team.
TCU,
really good.
with the loss to K-State, that's like their Tulane loss. Now they're going to be a better team and win the national championship. Boom.
I want to say that the committee did get it right by putting TCU in the playoffs, but I don't think TCU is one of the top 4 teams in the country. So I got Michigan, despite how poor the Big Ten is.
Zach, I don't even know what time the actual matchups were announced because ESPN stretched it into 4 hours. But how long after the announcement of TCU and Michigan did I have you? Well, we had to wait to get back in Kansas, of course.
We had to wait, yes.
Did I have you bet TCU money line for me?
Yeah, it wasn't. It was not shortly.
We weren't to Wellington yet.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way. I think TCU wins this. I know Michigan's a good team, but I think TCU is going to sneak up on them. I think Michigan's going to be peeking down the road at Georgia and get into a tussle with TCU. And we know damn well how hard it is to win that tussle. I think TCU wins this game and shocks a lot of people. Again, I come back to this. I don't think Big Ten teams are hardened over the course of the season like a Big 12 team. You have so many free weeks on your schedule. You just have a ton of them. And you don't have that in the Big 12. I mean, TCU even had to scrap around going to West Virginia and in Kansas. So I think TCU wins this.
So you had Zach place a bet. Was that because you thought the line was going to move, or you were just so excited?
I wanted that early line.
Yeah, he wanted the early line.
Where has it? How much has it moved since?
I don't think it's really moved.
I don't think it has. Here, let me look here.
But I did want to grab it. I wanted every point possible.
I think TCU's going to cover, but I think Michigan's going to win.
What is it at right now?
It opened TCU minus 9.5.
Right.
It is down to minus 7.5. Michigan minus 7.5. So,
Yeah.
So you
So
done messed up, didn't you, Fitz?
No.
He got 9.5 points.
Well, I did, but I bet money line. So
Sure.
I got.
So the value is better.
I mean, he's still got better value anyway.
Good job, Timothy.
I know. I'm learning from you. Let's move on to the other game, which is number 4 Ohio State against number 1 Georgia. This is an intriguing game to me because I think Georgia's clearly the best team out of the SEC, but they also have had moments of like almost losing to Missouri. That moment. So I'll be intrigued by this, but I do think Georgia wins the Chick-fil-A Bowl at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia.
Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl.
It's a home game.
Oh, Peach Bowl.
It's a home game for Georgia. Give me the dogs.
Yeah.
I think I get that I'm looking ahead here. I think that Georgia wins, but I think that Georgia's shaky at times, especially they've shown this season. So I think that they will win this game. I don't think they win the national championship.
You're going with TCU?
I'm going with TCU. Seriously.
Wow.
Like, if you look at the playoff teams, if you want to take your theory of the Big Ten not being hardened, TCU should beat both of those teams. If you beat Michigan, you should be able to beat Ohio State. I don't think Georgia's very good. I think Georgia is the most underwhelming SEC champion and playoff representative in the last, since the start of the playoffs. I am totally unconvinced by Georgia.
Okay.
I disagree wholeheartedly. I think Georgia wins both games.
Okay. Cole?
Not so fast, my friend. How was that?
Was that to him or him?
That was to both of them.
Oh, wow.
He's picking a tie.
I'm picking Michigan. Go Big Blue.
So who's going to win this game, though?
Oh, Georgia's going to roll.
Georgia will lose to Michigan.
Georgia will lose to Michigan.
They're giving up 12.5 points per game.
Georgia?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Georgia's good. I think Michigan's on that same level, and I just can't pick against Michigan, man. I think that's a team of destiny.
I think Georgia wins both. I think they will beat TCU in the national championship, and I think that just gets into an athletic gap that, honestly, the Big 12 can't make up. They just can't. Not yet. Not there quite yet. Okay, there's one other game. I don't know if you know about this. It's the Sugar Bowl. It's sponsored by Allstate.
Allstate.
It's at the Caesars Superdome, and I'm pretty sure.
Did he build it?
Yeah, he built it and stayed there. Okay. I think that's.
Did he live here?
Yeah, I think he did. I think he lived there. That's why it's the Superdome. I mean, yeah. It's in New Orleans. Do you guys want to go?
Sure.
Okay. Gills?
No.
You can't go.
I do not want to go.
Yeah. Zach, do you think it's advisable that we're going to be there for 7 nights in New Orleans?
Is that really how long it is?
To give great coverage to our subscribers, yes.
That's good. That's good hype right there. We're going to have 4 of us in New Orleans for 7 nights. Our press conferences start December 27th. We arrive the 26th. And our journey doesn't end there. We will depart New Orleans on January 2nd. And it was incredibly expensive to try to get back to Kansas City, in this case. So we're flying to Austin, Texas for the 4 of us to cover basketball on January 3rd. So we will be gone 9 total nights.
Against the head coachless Texas Longhorns.
Yeah. Yeah. We're going to really...
you guys aren't going to Waco?
Get our hands on that coverage.
No.
We're going to go back.
It was actually cheaper to fly home, and believe me, after 9 nights, I don't want to stay down in Texas for 3 more nights. So we're flying home because whatever happened here, Southwest's fares plummeted after the New Year. So I'm wondering they went on a new fuel contract or something?
No, it's
just the time of year?
Time of year.
But getting back from New Orleans was really expensive, but doing this is actually about the same cost. When you put hotel nights in there. So anyhow, then Zach and I will go right back down, but we're flying out of here for that one. Aren't we?
We haven't booked that one.
I think I did.
Did you?
So we're going to pick the football game?
I don't know about it.
So yes, we need to pick Alabama, Kansas State, Sugar Bowl. Who wants to go?
I know who Gilbert's going to pick, so I'll let him go first.
You're going to take?
You actually don't know who I'm going to pick. I go K-State.
Okay.
You pick K-State?
Yeah.
Okay. Cole?
Yeah.
You're going K-State too?
Yeah.
I will pick K-State.
Wow. I didn't expect that. Roll Tide! I'm picking Kansas State. And that too, I bet money line.
Yep.
Same time, and I got it's dropped significantly. It's 3.5 now.
Yeah, it was at least a touchdown.
Yeah, I think it was 8 or 9.
Yeah, it might have been high.
So,
but jumped on that early line.
We'll have plenty of time to talk about this game.
Yep, we will. We're going to have all of our usual stuff, pregame podcast, the Friday walkthrough. In fact, we're going to have a Friday walkthrough later this week. Actually, it might be up by the time this podcast goes up. Kind of a regular season recap with Monty and Cole. Ryan Gilbert is all over basketball, except he won't be in Kansas City on Saturday. Because you're going to Charlotte.
Yes, sir.
To watch an NFL
represent my black and gold.
Whatever. That's it for this weird podcast. We appreciate you listening. We appreciate all your support. Make sure you're subscribing to everything, to absolutely everything.
Thank you for listening to the PowerCat Podcast. Make sure you're subscribing to our show at Apple, Spotify, Amazon, or wherever you get your podcasts. PowerCat Podcast. All rights reserved. GoPowercat.com.
Ready? Go. Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning is coming to Paramount Plus.
Hang on!
It's off-the-charts spectacular.
Go, go, go!
Tom Cruise has outdone himself.
The world's coming after you. Stay out of my way.
Prepare for one of the best action movies ever made.
This is getting exciting.
Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning. Streaming January 25th on Paramount Plus. Rated PG-13. Some material may be inappropriate for children under 13.
Spring training is right around the corner, which means it's time to start prepping for the fantasy baseball season. Join us on Fantasy Baseball Today in 5, 4 times per week in January as part of the CBS Sports Podcast Network. Scott White, Chris Towers, and me, Frank Stanfield, will be delivering the latest news, rankings, and strategies in just 5 minutes. Make sure to download and follow on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, the Odyssey app, and everywhere else podcasts are found.